What were you looking for in terms of overall theme for value and picks, and then we'll go through some specific picks for the NFL draft betting?
Yeah, look, I'm a little stubborn. I think that's pretty well documented in the media spaces, but I'm hearing a lot of conjecture about guys going in the top 5, and I don't understand it. Like Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese is a fantastic player, boys. Like, I get it. I get what everyone sees, the athleticism. But there's clips floating around out there of him on a podcast talking about how he's not an edge rusher, how he's never practiced being an edge rusher before. And if you're going to draft in the top 5, I don't see how you can avoid that issue for Arvell Reese, because if you're there, you need a premium position. And it's pretty documented over the years as well that you're looking for quarterback, you're looking for offensive line, you're looking for edge rushers, and maybe the occasional corner that really pops. So my number one thing is I don't see how Sonny Styles or Arvell Reese are going to be top 5 picks in this draft, so I'm looking to fade them.
Okay, what are you going to do with David Bailey? Because it seems like he appeared to be a pretty strong choice to go to the Jets. Now that's fading a little bit. You still want to bet him?
Well, I bet him, April, a couple weeks ago, right before the steam hit, and he became the favorite to be the number 2 pick in the draft. I still think it's him, guys. I still think it's him because Aaron Glenn does not have a lot of job security. Steve, you know this. You know the Jets very well.
Yeah.
He does not have any job security. They need someone who can get after the quarterback immediately, and I have questions about Bailey as a player, but I do think he's going to be able to be an edge rusher on those passing downs and make a difference that way. I'm not really worried that they canceled the visit with him recently. To me, that tells me they've seen everything they need to see, and it's about exploring the other people that they may be thinking about. I think David Bailey still goes number 2 to the Jets.
Speaking with Dustin Swedelson, the man, the myth, the legend from VSIN, joining us here on Cofield and Company. Dustin, let me ask you this. When it comes to I think everybody has different philosophies, as you sort of alluded to, when it comes to the draft and what you're zeroing in and wanting to bet. But I think a lot of the popular bets kind of liken it to the Super Bowl, right, in terms of prop bets, the popular ones. For you, when it comes to sharp play, what do you consider that you're looking for that maybe the general public's not, where you're looking for value? Where are the deep, dark, sharp plays that you're looking for?
It's laying the wood. It's the answer nobody wants to deal with. It's laying a price on a pick that feels so right. Like I was just looking before I joined you guys. The Detroit Lions are minus 200 or something like that to take an offensive lineman. I don't see how they draft anything other than offensive line with the way they've been ravaged over the years. It's not sexy. It's not a big splash. You're laying a number, but something like that. Also, you can take the Houston Texans, minus 155, a little more palatable, to take a offensive lineman with their first pick in the draft. And then another one that you're laying a shorter price is the Chargers at minus 125 to take a defensive lineman or an edge rusher. I just think that fills a huge void for those teams. But the 2 offensive linemen, because no matter what we do every year when it comes to the draft, the general public underrates how many offensive linemen will go in the draft. I also think they underrate interior linemen as well on defense. But I think it's offensive linemen. And while this class may not have a Joe Thomas, it may not have that left tackle that wows you, we've seen guys catapult up the boards. You've seen Monroe Freeling from Georgia look like he's probably going to be a top 10 pick. He wasn't even a first rounder a couple months ago. I just think you're going to have a plethora of offensive linemen taken, and I think that Houston minus 155 and laying around $2 with the Lions, those are the sharp plays.
Dustin Swedelson's with us from VSIN 1230 The Game. All right, what do you want to do with some of these Ohio State dudes? You already talked about one of them, but I see you have bets on Carnell Tate, Caleb Downs, and also Sonny Styles.
Yeah, so Carnell Tate is I have a couple of things with him. So I think people got caught up in his 40 time not being all that impressive at the Combine. And the reality is a lot of scouts came out after and said, yeah, we had a better time on his 40 than they listed there. And I see the Tennessee Titans picking 4th overall. And there's a lot of people that are talking about Jeremiah Love going 3 to Arizona or going 4 to Tennessee, which, by the way, I don't see either. We can talk about that. I think Carnell Tate makes sense for Tennessee. Robert Saleh comes in. And if he's not going to go edge rusher and take Reuben Bain out of Miami, I think the best way for him to find out what Cam Ward is as a quarterback is get him a number 1 weapon. I thought that last regime did him such a disservice last year by not giving him really solid receivers to throw to. And I think Carnell Tate steps in right away, and he can be that number one target. And he's like a George Pickens type. He's an explosive, big play dude, but he's probably more reliable play in and play out than George Pickens. So when I see that, I'm looking in the market. You can get the number 4 pick overall to be Carnell Tate at 8.5 to 1. That's something I bet just on the chance. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but I do know there's a likely chance that Tennessee takes a receiver in that spot. I think it's Tate.
VSIN, of course, is located at Circa Las Vegas. They have some massive draft watch parties coming up next week on Thursday. Starting at 5 o'clock, you can watch with a reserved seat at Circa Sportsbook, or you can do it chilling poolside at Stadium Swim, but you got to reserve your spot now, so make sure you go to socials or to circalasvegas.com. I want to go back and look at some golf betting and what you did with the Masters. I assume you had some long shots. Did you back it up with any money on Rory McIlroy?
Every time Rory McIlroy got under 200, minus 200, I was betting a little bit on him to fix things. But it wasn't a – guys, I had Cameron Young 20 to 1. I had Justin Rose 14 to 1. Both of them with the lead on Sunday. I'm not even a golf guy, but I think I'm going to start getting into it a little more. I did okay with some of the top 20s, the top 10s and stuff, but it was weird because I was on the air – and I was on the air on Saturday, and when I started the show, Rory was like minus 350. So I was just checking in periodically. I'm like, yeah, he's still killing everyone. By the end of my show, I look at the board. I go, hold on. Rory's minus 125. This thing just opened up, and we got the drama.
Nice. You're a golf guy now. I like it. I don't picture you as a golf guy, but the Heritage this week in Hilton Head, you've got like 8-9 bets going. You got outrights, top 10, top 20s. Nice job.
Yeah, look, I'm so locked in on the golf. I saw Oberg was doing well early on. I don't even know what the leaderboard is right now. That's how locked in on golf I am. But, hey, you throw a little money on it, you'll care on Sunday. That's the key. Oh, Oberg's still winning. Yeah, good for me. I'm nailing that one.
All right, let's do it. Remember that you can also watch PGA Championship coming up in the middle of May 14th to the 17th. That's another good event at the Stadium Swim location and in Circa Sports. So they're doing viewing parties all the time. Now, we know the king of the viewing parties comes up this weekend. I don't know that you're a big wrestling guy because you made a joke about Brendan Dassey. You want to explain that one, or is it too lewd for the air?
No, he's the kid in Netflix is Making a Murderer.
Yes.
And after he admits to murder that no one thinks he actually did, and they're about to take him away, I think he said something about being able to go to WrestleMania eventually. He wanted to watch WrestleMania.
I'm all good. I can go watch WrestleMania now. Like, nah, this is for real, brother.
Yeah. Which, by the way, he didn't commit murder. There's no way he committed murder.
Are you going to go to any of these events the next couple of days? You know that CVV is on hand, who might be the number one person in my algorithm. I like wrestling. I don't like it that much, but Chris Van Vliet, who we had on last year, I don't think I realized what a megastar he is. He's got a live show tonight at 8 o'clock. If you go to Circa's website, you can get VIP tickets to get in at 7 or general admission go down at 8 o'clock. You should be on some of the wrestling shows. I almost feel like your personality lends to the potential to be a wrestling manager.
Yeah, I loved wrestling in 7th grade, Steve. And I think the key to get back into it, because this is what's happening, I think this is why wrestling's having a boom, is once you have a kid and your kid gets into it, then you get into it again. So I think that's the game plan. So once I eventually pop out a kid, I'll force him to like wrestling, then I can get back into it. Whip out the Stone Cold Daisy Dukes and wear him to an event.
Now, be careful, Dustin. I don't want you to get canceled anywhere. Remember, properly phrase what you have to phrase. You're not popping out the kid. Once you're there for your wife to pop out the kid, then you can share in the enjoyment for the three of you with wrestling. I want you to make sure that you properly phrase that, because the last thing we need is Dustin Swedelson getting canceled.
Well, technically, doesn't the process begin with me popping out the kid? Technically, I know there's a race that has to be run, but technically,
no, that's not.
There's
Everybody says that. They do the funny memes and everything of what you're talking about. And say, oh, when I was a youngster. No, that's actually that's just the fertilizer going to the seed.
Okay, like the science from Willie.
Come on now.
Dustin Swedelson up on Cofield Company on ESPN Las Vegas. Let's see. We have a A's final yet here. Yep, A's fell. They blew it in the ninth inning. Las Vegas A's lose to Texas 9-6. You've been betting baseball a little bit. I saw yesterday you had some home run bets for funsies. It looked like you hit on Drake Baldwin and Soderstrom, right?
No.
Yesterday,
I believe I hit Kyle Tucker last night.
Okay.
That was it.
Nice job. Plus 590.
Today was good. We hit Vinny Pasquantino and we hit Josh Young at plus 790. So that's going well. The other baseball betting, the props, the sides, the totals, just do the opposite of me right now. You'll do very well.
All right. Well, go up to Twitter and follow Dustin on Twitter. What do you do on a daily basis for baseball? What's your philosophy? What range do you try to bet in? Who do you try to pick?
There's certain pitchers I like to fade. So if Chris Paddock's pitching, if Miles Michaelis is pitching, those are two of like the key guys right now that I'm looking to attack whenever they're going, and a team total usually the other way with the other team. So that's a big thing for me is certain pitchers I want to go against, and other ones that I like backing, specifically, though, looking for unders. I really like to bet unders when we got two aces going. But it doesn't mean the scoring's not going to stop. That's the unfortunate part. But it all starts with starting with the pitchers. Once you look at the pitchers who are going, you can build things out from there. I like to look at historical track record against certain teams, on the road, home splits, and which teams are really good against, like, left-handed pitching, for instance.
Dustin, I don't know if we talked to you last year at this time, but I like to bring this up with whoever we have on in the first month of baseball. I still refer to a book from the Old School Gamblers Book Club. It has the old style plastic binder thing where the old school tool where you had to put the binders, the plastic, and you pull it open and the pages go within. But it was by Mike Lee, Betting the Bases. And three of the old school systems I still follow. I still pay attention to. One is the Magical Fourth, team that's won 3 in a row. They're going for their fourth. They got to be at home. The Virgin pitcher, which is you're making your major league debut, but he's got to be starting, right? And then the rematch, where you see the teams that face one another within the first 10 days of one another. Team plays each other over the weekend. The next week, they're back at the other stadium. If the losing pitcher is on the mound, the second facing the same pitcher, it's the revenge game. Do you follow any systems? Do you know of those systems? Are you fond of any of those?
Oh.
I know some people like to do the Virgin pitcher in the first 5 innings. Any systems, old school systems you're fond of?
No old school systems like that, but I'm usually, because I get obsessed with these prospects. If I'm really hyped on a prospect, I will take a flyer on them in a first start, even though that goes against everything. Just because there's no scouting report, there's no track record, and sometimes these guys can show up and have elite stuff. So that's usually one angle I do with the younger pitchers. But I don't have any tried and true systems. It's more like every day I look at the canvas, fill it in based on what I'm looking at.
From the world of Dustin Swedelson up on social media, remember Dustin hosts a nightly show. He is with VSIN 12:30 the game. His show goes down 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock our time. It's called Cashing Out. A couple of random thoughts that you had up here. One, do you miss the polar bear? Are you not happy with Polanco?
Well, I think David Stearns, who runs the New York Mets, he runs everything as a nerd and his laptop. That's where all the information comes out of. And the thing that his little algorithm and laptop failed to calculate was the energy and the excitement and the vibes that a guy like Pete Alonso brings to a ball club. So you can tell me he's a right-handed power hitter and he's going to diminish later on in his career. Your team could use some power. It could use some energy. It could use some life from that rah-rah cornball, the polar bear, and I miss him terribly. I am not feeling good about the Mets right now. And this has happened before, and they've wound up making the playoffs. But this feels like there is a major disconnect, and I think it's starting with Francisco Lindor, where for whatever reason he's not clicking with his teammates.
I feel like you guys freak out about Lindor and slow starts, and I understand the chemistry part of it and the clubhouse part of it, but I always feel like the Mets fans forget that Lindor really kind of blows early in the season and usually heats up, so I don't know if I'm ready to freak out. Are you freaking out about Vrabel and Rossini? I think this was a joke, but then you put an eggplant in there, so I don't know what the hell's going on. The Vrabel-Rossini scandal never would have happened if New England won the Super Bowl. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, he said he was going to cut. He said he was going to cut it off if they won the Super Bowl.
Wait, where'd you see that? Is that on the rumor mill? What was that?
With the boys, he said he would cut it off for a Super Bowl.
Oh, he cut off. Yeah, that's right. He cut off his junk. So that's a good point. So now I get the eggplant rumor, or the eggplant emoji.
So had he done that, they never would have been caught on top of that.
Wait a minute.
I do think we have an epidemic. I think there's a lot of losers on social media right now who are making their entire online personality talking about that scandal, where I get it. I understand the issues at hand. It's not that big a deal in the grand scheme. She's going to pay for it. He should pay for it, but he hasn't yet. We'll see. I think the biggest thing that's not being brought to light, Mike Vrabel's a rat.
You just opened up the conspiracy theory box. Did they throw the Super Bowl so he didn't have to cut it off?
Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting because clearly he wants to use it. Yeah.
Clearly he needed to use it. Dustin.
You got me there.
Things we come up with in Vegas, baby.
Yep. All right, Dustin, what do you got coming up tonight at 8 o'clock on Cashing Out?
All right, we are going to be all over the draft looking at some more potential bets to add to the portfolio. We will break down everything in the NBA playoffs, looking at each series, and I'm going to debunk the theory that everyone has out there that some of these series are going to be close, because I think we've learned in the NBA these teams don't care about the regular season. It's time to, quote-unquote, flip the switch.
Dustin, great as always. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, buddy.
Be good, boys.
So if you go to CircaLasVegas.com, where VSIN is housed, here's what's going on for Circa Mania. First up, well, these aren't in order, but El Grande Americano is actually doing an appearance tomorrow, Friday the 17th, 10 to noon, with Wheatley American Vodka. That'll be at Stadium Swim. As I mentioned, CVV, if you know what it means, and you know what it means. Chris Van Fleet, one of the biggest podcasts out there on wrestling, he's got his show tonight at the Circa. I don't see the room here, but whatever. Buy your tickets, VIP or general admission at Circa Las Vegas. Wrestling Observer Live goes down tomorrow. That's 10 to 11 a.m. That's with one of my buddies and former coworkers, Dave Meltzer. You can learn more about that up on the website.